What is happening? What is up? NFL Week 6 is coming to a close. I've got plays for you for Monday Night Football, and I've got analysis that's going to get you ahead of the books for when the odds come out for NFL Week 7. Let's get it. First things first, on the screen, you will see my full list of Week 6 recap. Yes, I recap everything for my premium VIP Picks members, and here it is. This is the full list. However, there is a discrepancy on it. As you see, 7.9 units of profit up for the entire week, even after a down Thursday Night Football. However, it's really more like 9.1, 9.2 because one of my members alerted me that Bucky Irving down here did indeed score a touchdown. Thanks, Bucky Irving, for flipping this on its head and giving us even more profit. This is the transparency I post in the VIP pick service. Hope you guys cleaned up and ate because my favorite play of the week, the David Montgomery touchdown, smashed in the first quarter. I promised you I had a Monday Night Football play, and it's on the board for you right here. Aaron Rodgers under 32.5 longest completion, and Josh Allen under 1.5 passing touchdowns. Both of these defenses are nightmares for opposing quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers hasn't exceeded this line since week 1 of the NFL season against the San Francisco 49ers when he threw a 36-yard completion. Since then, he's thrown 26, 27, 25, and 25-yard completions, but hasn't exceeded this line. Josh Allen has only exceeded this line in 2 out of his 5 games this year. One of those games, he threw 2 opening week against Arizona. The other game, he obliterated the Jaguars, which everybody obliterates the Jaguars defense when he threw 4 touchdown passes. Otherwise, he's thrown 1, 1, and 0 touchdown passes in his other 3 games where he hit the under. I like the lower here. I like this as a little parlay on underdog if you have access to it. Otherwise, I also like the Bills plus 7.5, and then either one of these to parlay with that, depending on what books you're on. For Thursday Night Football, we've got a bit of a clunker game in the Denver Broncos traveling to New Orleans to play the Saints. A low over-under total, and rightfully so. Denver does not allow opposing wide receivers to score touchdowns. And that stat makes me a little bit interested in Kamara. And for that reason, I have 0 to very little interest in Olave. And the Saints, they are second in the league in interceptions to opposing quarterbacks at 10. They have 10 interceptions on the season. I like the potential here for Bo Nix to throw an interception in this game. That's something that I'll be looking to target. The next game actually does look like a clunker. However, I think there's an area to target it. We've got the Patriots playing the Jags. The Jags defense is terrible. They've been lit up in multiple weeks in a row and basically all season. I like looking at Drake May's props, maybe some over passing yardage, maybe the over passing touchdowns. Take a look at that when those lines are released. This Jags defense is historically bad. And then also, take a look at his pass catchers too, and maybe build out a little 2-man parlay. That's how I would attack this game. On the other side of the ball, you've got ETN with a hamstring injury. Tank Bigsby kind of let us down this weekend. I like the bounce back potential here for him in this game. The Green Bay Packers play the Houston Texans this week, and the Packers wide receivers are hard to pin down. You just never know who's going to be the guy that week. So therefore, I don't want to try to play that game unless one of their wide receivers is out. We saw Dontavian Wicks get injured. Christian Watson returned from injury and played pretty well. If one, or even better, 2 of their receivers are out, then I think you can really focus in on this offense and you can have a good feeling of where the production's coming from. But if they're all healthy, or if even if 3 out of the 4 of them are healthy, it's kind of a stay away from the receiver spot. However, one way you can target this team is through Jordan Love. Instead of trying to figure out which one of his pass catchers is going to be the guy that week, just look at Jordan Love's passing yardage prop and potentially take the over. Now, I know Houston's defense has been tough. They allow the 6th fewest passing yards on the season. So that's not a great matchup. I get it. But if Jordan Love finds himself in a game playing from behind, even though they say he's a 2.5-point favorite, remember, the home favorites get about a 3-point bump normally. So you could make the argument that the Texans are about a 0.5-point favorite. Either way, this game is very close. I like the potential to look at Jordan Love's over on his passing yardage. And I think on the flip side of the ball, give me Stephon Diggs. I want to take a look at his receptions. I like his receiving yardage, especially if it's going to be around 60, 58, even better. As long as Nico's not back, which I believe he's on IR, so he should miss at least 2 more weeks. Tank Dell had a little bit of a resurgence. I think you could sprinkle on the Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown, as well as the Joe Mixon touchdown, and look at, last but not least, CJ Stroud's passing yardage props. If you've watched my videos before, you know we're not leaving without talking about the Colts. They play a home game against Miami. Anthony Richardson allegedly was warming up. The coaches made the decision at the last minute to not let him play. He said he felt a little discomfort. I think another week of rest gets him to where he needs to be to play, since he was that close this weekend. So let's assume this is an Anthony Richardson game. Give me Alec Pierce's over receiving yards, excuse me. I like the over receiving yards. I imagine it's going to be probably like somewhere in the high 40s or something. I like Alec Pierce. He has emerged as the guy. Pittman played through a back injury last week, might not even play this week. They said IR is not out of the question for him. Either way, it doesn't really matter. Even with Josh Downs being back, that is not necessarily Richardson's game right now. He is the long ball. He is the 60-yard bomb. Give me Alec Pierce to go over his receiving prop this week. And then on the Miami side of the ball, the only guy I really have interest in, well, two guys, let's say. Devin Achane, of course. I think that the Colts have been gashed all year, so give me Devin Achane and Tyreek Hill. Those are the guys I'm going to target. I think they're fine options for touchdowns this week. The Colts defense has been really, really bad. I think they're great options for their receiving yards prop. I like both of them, especially if Achane's is like, 33.5 or something like that. I like his receiving yards prop, and I like Tyreek Hill as well. I think you could potentially maybe even look at laddering Tyreek Hill's receiving yardage prop this weekend, just because the Colts defense has been so bad. I just want to say, appreciate you guys watching this. If this is your first time, do me a favor, drop me a sub, like the video, and leave me a comment. It boosts the algorithm. It pumps my numbers right up. Let me know if you like the new thumbnails. I'm trying some new stuff out. Give me a little free A/B testing. I appreciate you guys. The next two games I'm going to talk about have in my opinion, probably the highest potentials to have shootouts. These are the games you want to target, especially if we're talking overs. We've got the Seattle Seahawks and the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons are 2.5-point home favorites. I like DK Metcalf, as always, in this. And take a look at Geno Smith's rushing prop. Yes, rushing prop. The Atlanta Falcons allow the most rushing yards to opposing quarterbacks in the NFL this season. I think they have a hard time with containment. Geno is not a big runner, but he is capable of sneaking out of the backfield. You might get an easy one there. Just throw a half to a unit on it, something light, and I think you can sneak out an easy play there, an unconventional play for this game. On the other side of the ball, on the Falcons side, we finally saw Bijan erupt, and Tyler Algier even got his too. The VIP members ate because I was on Tyler Algier if he was the starting running back, and then it flipped back to Bijan when we found out Bijan's hamstring wasn't going to limit him. Both of them looked great. Both of them ate. Both of them scored touchdowns. I know that was a big hit in the VIP. I saw people talking about that. Now we're going to go right back to the well, but I'm not sure if I'm going back to the well on the touchdown yet, but I definitely have interest in Bijan Robinson's over rushing yardage prop, and I want to take a look at his over rushing and receiving yardage prop as well. As long as Tyler Algier doesn't eat too much into that, I think he's a smash spot here, as the Seattle Seahawks have allowed one of the highest, if not, I think the third highest off the top of my head, rushing yardage to opposing running backs in the league this season. The next game with massive shootout potential is the Detroit Lions and the Minnesota Vikings. Yes, Montgomery anytime touchdown. Yes, Jahmyr Gibbs anytime touchdown. Yes, Justin Jefferson touchdown, and you could essentially move on if you want. I like Justin Jefferson to have a massive week this week, ladder his receiving yards, take the over on his whatever his line is set at for receiving yards anyways, and then potentially sprinkle on the 2+ touchdowns, in my opinion. Now, don't get too crazy. Obviously, stick to what I've preached on here as far as if you're betting on the 2+ touchdowns, if you're going to build out this massive parlay for it, use sprinkle small units. However, I think we know where the targets are going to come from in this offense, and both of these offenses really. I think we can really project out what's going to happen, and I want to take advantage of these spots where I think we have a good read on where you're going to see the production come from. We've got the Carolina Panthers and the Washington Commanders. Yes, give me Jaden Daniels. Yes, give me Brian Robinson Jr. running the ball against this Carolina Panthers defense. And I definitely will be sprinkling a Brian Robinson Jr. touchdown, maybe even this is an instance for a 2+ touchdown week for Brian Robinson Jr. We've got the Super Bowl rematch in the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. Jordan Mason is always in play. However, the man has just let me down too many times lately. I'm out on Jordan Mason. I don't know at this stage of the week if he's going to even end up playing. I'm not super interested in Isaac Guerrero. I know he played well. I think he's going to be fine. But I am interested in Debo because I think they really lean on their Swiss Army knife and a George Kittle this week. Take a look at George Kittle's receiving yardage prop. I like it if it's like 39.5, 40, 41.5, something like that. I think the over is great. I want to look at Debo's receiving and rushing yardage prop as well. On the other side of the ball, I'm interested in Kelsey a little bit. And I might take a look at some Mahomes props, but really I'm not going to go too crazy in this game. I'm just going to watch it and enjoy the Super Bowl rematch that we had. Should be a great game. Last but certainly not least, we've got Tampa Bay and the Baltimore Ravens in a great game here. Should be high scoring. Should be plenty of people to target in this game. I'm looking at a big game from Baker Mayfield, over 1.5 passing touchdowns in this game. I think we got to look at Mike Evans. I think we have to look at Chris Godwin's over 5.5 receiving receptions prop. That more than likely is what it's going to be. 60 to 63.5 receiving yardage. I also like the over there as well. And then on the flip side of the ball, give me Derrick Henry. Give me Lamar Jackson's over passing yardage, depending on where it's at. I want to look at it because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have allowed a ton of points to opposing quarterbacks. They have allowed the 4th most passing yards by opposing quarterbacks, and they've allowed 4 rushing touchdowns to come from the running back position. So take a look at the potential for Lamar to get one in this game. And anytime touchdown for Lamar is definitely on the table here. I appreciate each and every one of you watching these videos. You guys make these awesome and fun. I love the comments afterwards. Check the links out that are pinned to this video below. Follow me on X for news. Shoot me a DM. There's a lot of exciting things that are going to be happening. A lot of changes for me personally coming up in the next couple of weeks. It's a great time to get in. Try the VIP for free for 7 days. And remember, bet smart and win more.